I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and it's part 2 of a dogfight battle between the HTC One and the Nokia Lumia 920. Android, Windows Phone, silver, red, metal, polycarbonate. It's a tough battle and it's part 2. Let's go figure out which one of these devices deserves the dogfight gold medal. It's part 2 of a dogfight battle between Android and Windows Phone, and arguably these are two flagships of their respective OSs. You've got the HTC One available today from AT&T and from Sprint for $199 right now, just in the silver version. T-Mobile online right now for $99 down, available in store a little bit later. I think 24th was the actual launch date for the in-store version, or the devices in the HTC One lineup. Over here, Windows Phone, Nokia Lumia 920, available at AT&T in 5 different colors: yellow, blue, red, black, and white. Really a nice device. It offers some nice personalization just in the ability to choose your colors, and I was super excited, just between you and me, really excited that this time around when I requested a review unit a few months later, I got the red one, Score. I love red phones. If you know anything about me, you know I love red phones. Love the Galaxy S3 in garnet red. That was one of my favorites. But here we go into the dogfight between Android and Windows Phone rather. But before we get into that, special thanks to our partners at Best Buy Mobile. They give us devices like this for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game, which all we do is turn around and give to you for free at instantwin.phonedog.com. When you go into Best Buy Mobile to get either of these, they are carrier agnostic, they're platform agnostic. They will help you find what works best for you, and it's all part of their walkout working umbrella. So when you walk out the door, you're good to go from carrier to OS to setup and more at Best Buy Mobile. Let's take a look between these two, because there are a lot of differences between these, even though they're both obviously marketed towards very similar demographics in a lot of ways. We talked about the build quality in part 1. We'll jump right back into personalization, and this is actually one of my favorite personalization features on the HTC One. We saw this with the One X Plus, and I'll show you it's kind of been upgraded over on this device. So we'll go to General, we'll scroll down, and we'll choose the background and color. So I can choose not only a background color, or background theme rather, but I can choose colors as well for my text bubbles. So for example, let's do a blue color scheme instead, and I'll come back over here and you can see my color theme. Saying theme and scheme really fast on video is surprisingly challenging, especially when you're doing it improv. You can see here, colors are different. I can make a custom background as well. So if I wanted to do a picture of the city of Dallas or wanted to do a picture of my loved ones behind it, I can do that and personalize it and make it my own even more than out of the box. Now over here, pretty stock, in terms of kind of customization, this is very similar in a lot of ways to iOS. It's kind of a one-size-fits-all approach, with the exception, obviously, of the ability to customize the live tiles on the home screen. So you can see over here, I'm moving these around. Did not mean to click on that one. Let's go ahead and make this one larger as well. You can make these 3 different sizes now, which was a feature that was added in Windows Phone 8. And I love this because it was an argument I always had with Windows Phone 7.5. I was like, I can see a use case where messaging is big enough to accommodate previews, or where my phone's big enough to accommodate previews. And now I can do that to my heart's content and make these as large as I want to. And I can just keep moving down through here. And some don't go full size. You'll see, for example, Internet Explorer does not go full size, but you've got that Nokia Drive. And what's great about this phone, just on top of other Windows Phone 8 offerings, Nokia has bet the farm on Windows Phone 8. And so as a result, they're really hoping for the success of this platform and hoping it solidifies its 3rd place spot. So as a result, they've invested a lot of money into Windows Phone 8, and some of the ways you see that are through some of these value-added applications. Nokia City Lens, Nokia Drive, Nokia Maps, Nokia Music. Nokia Music happens to be one of my favorites, and it is available on the Lumia 920. We'll load it up so you can take a look at Mix Radio, for example. Kind of like a Spotify here. I know that it's going to cost me money. Excuse me. We'll go to Mix Radio Spotlight. And we'll go to, let's see, 90s Indie. That sounds pretty cool. It's on 4G right now. I don't know why I'm not on 4G LTE, but for whatever reason, this SIM card may not be provisioned. So I can load up my music and move it around as I see fit. And this is very much like Spotify. I can find music and listen to it, although I can only skip a certain number of times, as you'll see, before it stops me. Skip limit. And then I can only skip up to 6 tracks every hour. So it is a free service. You can buy the premium version as well and take advantage of some added features. And then Nokia Drive is particularly useful as well. I'm going to turn this off. Hang on one second. Bam. Okay. And Nokia Drive is particularly useful as well. So we can load that up and take a look. Go to the store. I'll download it. And I found this to be a useful application. One thing I really wish Windows Phone 8 had done better out of the box, I wish they had better turn-by-turn navigation. Well, Nokia answers that with their applications and it's actually called Here Drive now because they did merge in the Here name with all of the different applications. Here Drive, and then of course I think it's Here Music as well, or it's Here Maps, I think, are the two. I always get confused which ones merged and were branded as Here and which ones weren't. Lots of changes that happened just early in the year. Here it is downloaded. Here Drive and beta. We'll load this up and take a look at this application because again, you know, I'm all big on software value adds. If you watch my videos, you know that because I think we're getting to a point where from a hardware standpoint, it's getting harder and harder to compete and go head to head. I mean, it's hard to get better than the One or better than the Lumia 920. So one of the ways to distinguish yourself as an OEM is through software value adds, and Nokia is doing that. I'm gonna go ahead and skip that. We are going to use the English voice, of course. And while that's happening, let's go ahead and load up Quadrant Standard over on this device. And then last but not least, we'll wrap out the video with cool rap music. And I'm just kidding. We'll wrap up the video with, instead of wrap out, we'll wrap up the video with some camera stuff. And so, of course, there is Nokia Drive. We're going to zoom that out a little bit so you can see some interstates and such and some highways. And then, of course, there it is in its full glory. I can click. I'll go down here, for example, see how many miles per hour I'm going, 45 mile per hour max as it knows on the street. And then of course I can come down here and look in 2D or 3D. I can set a destination, I can save a location, and I can use this as my turn-by-turn solution. So it is a far better solution out of the box, making it a great option for those people that know they want Windows Phone. I would recommend Nokia with their Lumia 920 just for the software goodies. And then of course the beautiful hardware as well. This is a really nice device. It fits well in the hand. Yes, it's a little bit thicker than most Windows Phone devices, particularly in comparison to their own HTC Windows Phone 8X. But still really impressed with the overall look and feel of this. And I like the colors as well. Quadrant Standard over here, an absurd 12,071. And while you should take that with a grain of salt, 12,071 is a pretty impressive score by any stretch of the imagination on Quadrant Standard. Now take a look at my 4G speed tests with Sprint. This is running 4G LTE in the Dallas Metroplex, and when I'm in my home, 35, 33 megabits per second. We're right beside a cell site, so our house is easily accessible with 4G LTE. But then I get up into the office and I get speeds like this, 0.56, 4.02, 2.19. There may be a cell site issue right up here because I've never had that issue up until about a month ago. Keep that in mind though if you live in an area with LTE. See if you can get one for a test drive and kind of test out where you use your device if you're looking at Sprint to make sure that the LTE works particularly well. Really impressed all around with the build quality of this device. Let's take a look and wrap it up with the camera. Last but not least on both of these devices. 4 ultra pixel camera over here, 8 megapixel camera over here with Carl Zeiss lens. And one of the things I love, and Android OEMs have implemented this in later years, love the fact that I can swipe real time from my gallery right back into my camera. And so I've got a couple of image options here, and this is one that's always baffled me on Windows Phone 8, and I can't quite understand why they do this. There's this area called lenses, and you can find more lenses by going to the Windows Marketplace, downloading those if you want to. Bing Vision, I downloaded Cinemagraph earlier. There are a bunch of different options that you can download. My question is, from a marketing standpoint, it seems to me to be much smarter to go ahead and have those in here. And the argument Nokia and Windows, or Microsoft rather, always brings up is, well, we want people to personalize their device and make it their own. That's great. You don't have to use the feature. To me, it seems from a marketing message standpoint far better to have those features and not use them than for people, mainstream consumers, to not even know they're there. You know, for example, here I can click on this and say, oh, what is this? I'm a mainstream consumer. This looks really cool. I'll try it out. But if I don't have the opportunity to do that, I may not know that these options are available in Google Play. So just an interesting marketing message from Microsoft and from Nokia as well. But anyway, pictures pretty clear, pretty easy on this device. Low light pictures are solid over on the Lumia 920, far better than the Lumia 900. I'll bring it over to the HTC logo just for example so you can take a look at that. Really a decent picture here that turns out well all around. Over here, gorgeous images. I've been really pleased with the camera all around. It works incredibly well in low lit situations. And I'm impressed, you know, again, 4 megapixels really when you look at it, the brass tacks. Like the features like HTC Zoe. Again, take a look at the HTC One full review. But I like this feature a lot where, for example, I'll bring a device across and I can do this Zoe, which is a 3-second video clip. And you can see it right here when I go and click on it. You can do this Zoe, which is a 3-second video clip. And what that does, I can do, let's say, 20 or 30 of those throughout the day. I take a bunch of still pictures. This phone organizes stuff by events, and I'll show you in just a second. Go to Gallery. Boom. I'll go up here to my photos, and I'll go to Events, and you can see that it organizes by date. So 4/19, I can go in here, for example, and if I had more pictures, you know what, let's go ahead and take a few more to create this kind of environment that I'm talking about. Go ahead and turn Zoe off, and then I'll go ahead and click a couple of pictures here. Just move around the room, take a picture of my Cisco phone, and then so I've got a bunch of different picture options over here. Now what I'll do is go back to gallery, click on it again, and right here it creates a custom movie for me, a Zoe Share. And I'm doing nothing to edit this, I should point out. You have to do no editing on your end. This is all done on the phone side. Not only that, you can change the way it looks as well. So I can come in here, for example, and say, you know what? Let's go ahead and change this around. Whoops, wrong one, sorry. This one, I'll come down here and say, you know what? Let's go ahead and change it to Vega. This is one of my favorites. I don't know why this music cracks me up. But you can see it combines those 3-second videos and pictures as well, which is particularly impressive. And then you can share that with friends. And you also see in the gallery in real time, those videos move as well, which is kind of a cool feature. Impressive device all around. Pretty pleased with the battery quality. It's not the best in the market by any means, but it does have a 2,300 milliamp hour battery. Over here, pretty pleased all around. You know, Windows Phone from a battery perspective doesn't take up, at least I feel like it doesn't consume as much battery. I've been relatively pleased with the performance of Windows Phone 8 devices, and with a 2,000 milliamp hour battery, this is not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Just wish there was a battery percentage meter on both of these devices out of the box. But what I've actually resorted to, and I'll show you over here on the GSM version, is this. Let me go ahead and click over. Battery Widget Reborn is one of my favorites, and of course it shows up in the notifications area as well. So all in all, you know, these are impressive devices. Unfortunately, there's never enough time in a day to compare every single feature, but it's really going to depend on what you find the most useful on your device. The winner of the dogfight is the HTC One. It offers some fantastic features. It wins in the build quality contest. It wins in the camera contest from a number of features, HTC Zoe included. It wins from a hardware standpoint with a quad-core Snapdragon 600 CPU, a 4.7-inch full 1080p HD display. Really impressed with this phone, and I love the availability on multiple carriers. So much like when I do dogfights between Samsung devices that are now available on 5, 6, 7 different carriers, HTC is finally lining that up and starting to get distribution down with these major US carriers, just increasing sales for them long term. It's the winner of the dogfight. The Nokia Lumia 920 is a great device, don't get me wrong. Love the red. Definitely the best Windows Phone device out there from a features standpoint. The dogfight winner is the HTC One. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for more on the HTC One, the Lumia 920, dogfights, and more. It's going to be an exciting couple of weeks in mobile as we move forward into late spring and even into summer. So keep it locked right here at PhoneDog.com. I'm on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron, Facebook, Facebook.com/HiAaronBaker. Let me know what you think of these devices, and to Google Plus at PhoneDog.com/G+. Thanks for watching. Much more to come on these very soon. And as always, I'll see you next time.